Hi everybody, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of this. How are you doing? Is everything going okay with you? Everything is going just fucking dandy with me. So, what I want to talk about today is seeing from the comment section for these videos, I have to tell you that it warms my cockles to see how many fellow werewolf fans there are. And I thought today that I would do just one more video on werewolves. Who am I kidding? Who knows how many more there are going to be. But for this year at least, one more video on werewolves and werewolf entertainment. And I thought I would talk about movies that I'm looking forward to watching and a book I'm looking forward to reading. It's all about werewolves today. Because why not? We all love them. So I want to start by talking about the website Bloody Disgusting. If you don't subscribe to them or follow their page on Facebook, you are doing yourself a disservice, especially if you're a horror fan, because they focus on talking about, it's mostly video games and television shows and movies. Nobody cares about books. This is a painful reality I must face. I'm not happy about it, but I guess I can live with it. But the thing about Bloody Disgusting, especially when they're talking about movies and doing movie reviews, is that if you look up movie reviews on like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb, the problem with those is that you'll find that a lot of non-horror fans are reviewing these horror movies. And because they don't have historical context within horror cinema, there are some things that they might not get. And also there are just, non-horror fans have a completely different outlook when it comes to horror movies. They are more sensitive to certain things that maybe, we've seen before as horror fans. And on Bloody Disgusting, their movie reviews are actually really relatable to other horror fans because they have that historical context. They understand. They know when something has been done before. And I can't recommend them enough. But they also do editorials. They'll talk about stuff. So I'm going to leave a link down below in the description box to this one article. It was posted like 8 months ago. It's by no means new, but it's by a staff writer. I think it's pronounced Megan Navarro, and it's titled Full Moon Rising, The Resurgence of Werewolves in Film. And that title alone has to get you excited because wouldn't that be great? They've kind of never stopped making werewolf movies. You just have to look really hard to find them, and you have to be patient to wade through bad movies to find the good. And I found quite a few good ones by weeding through all of this stuff. But she lists some movies in this article that I'm looking forward to watching. And one of them is Werewolves Within. And Werewolves Within is a horror comedy, and she lists it as a whodunit as opposed to a whodunit. It's a whodunit. And I love horror comedy. Give it to me all day, every day, twice on Sunday, please, because it's right up my alley. It aligns with my sensibilities, with my personality. I write a lot of horror comedy. I love it. The problem being is that werewolf movies by themselves can tend to be really iffy, right? Because, the werewolf itself walks a very fine line between fantasy and horror. And that's by design, and it's completely fine. As a werewolf fan, I obviously prefer horror's take on the werewolf as opposed to fantasy. I want more of the monster rather than the mythology necessarily, especially when it comes to movies, because it gets a little too romantic for my liking sometimes. But I think storytellers, especially in movie form, they have a hard time really committing to the monster, I think. And I think that's a shame because you end up having to go through a lot of movies that don't quite know what to do with this particular monster. They don't understand the euphemisms and the metaphors that are important in a werewolf story. And again, it's a shame, but when they nail it, they nail it, and it's good. Like, they're still doing it today. There's still good werewolf movies being made right now. And also horror comedy. Horror comedy is hard, and it's hard to enjoy, and it's really hard to get right. And there are a lot out there that work, and they stay popular forever because it's so hard to get it right. Like, Amazon is full of movies right now that are horror comedies that are, they disrespect the genre and they don't understand horror storytelling. We talk about them all the time on the Ghostwriters podcast, these movies that Amazon has billions of at this point. Like, some of them are actually really fun. And I mentioned on a previous episode of the Ghostwriters podcast, Santa Jaws. It's completely bizarre, it's completely low budget, and it is its own kind of garbage, but it was enjoyable. I laughed on so many parts. It didn't take itself too seriously, and I think that's important too. Some horror comedies are awash in their own virtue, and they don't understand that you're supposed to be making fun of yourself in these movies. And they just kind of don't get it. But that's no reason to stop trying. That's no reason to not watch these movies. So, Werewolves Within is a horror comedy. I'm absolutely going to watch it someday. Give me 28-hour days and I'll get around to it. And another one that is not mentioned in this Bloody Disgusting thing. Look, we're going to move away from the Bloody Disgusting article now. But this movie, I'm certain, is going to be a disappointment. It's called The Amityville Moon. And you can purchase it, rent it through Amazon and Apple TV right now. If you look at the poster for this movie, you're immediately going to think, oh, this is going to be garbage. It looks like a cheap video game poster. However, just give me a second. I'm going to watch it anyway because werewolves. But someone or other posted a clip. I think it was on Facebook, and I happened to catch this clip of a transformation scene from this movie. And it plays so much, like, it is a huge homage to the big transformation scene in the first The Howling. It's not shot for shot, but boy, you can really see it. The way the bones start bubbling in the face, the popping sounds with the transformation, which made me go, oh, okay, so obviously I have to watch this. Again, I'm fully expecting this movie to be a letdown, but you never know. It might be great. And that transformation scene alone, and paying homage to its predecessors, The Howling being probably one of the greatest werewolf movies ever. Even though, their ears were too long, and it was low budget, and they were strapped for cash, it's still amazing. Amazing. I will hear no dissenting opinions on this. Thank you very much. Another one that I want to look into, I'll be listing these movies down below, so if you're interested, look. But seriously, I'm looking at the poster for the Amityville Moon now. Oh, God. Another one I'm interested in looking, that's not it, yes. I think it's pronounced Were because it's W-E-R. It's an American film. If it were something else, I would be like going, it's There. It's a 2013 movie. Gus. I missed out on this one, apparently. But this movie looks interesting. This movie looks good. This movie looks like action-packed and totally going for it. And yes, I want to watch this one. 2013 movie. It takes place in France, which is also interesting because, again, we talked last week, France has a long history with werewolves, and I kind of love it, and I'm kind of really looking forward to it. I have no idea where I can find this movie. I probably should have looked that up before I started this video. I'm very sorry, but make no mistake, I will find this movie. And then, we're going to do a short one today. And then I want to talk about a book that I'm really looking forward to reading. It's been on my Kindle forever because, again, can I get 28-hour days to get to everything? It's called The Beast of Brenton Woods, and it is by Jackson R. Thomas. Now, this is an indie book, which I want to make sure, we talk about stuff like that. The reason why, aside from the fact that it's a werewolf book, it's put out by Alien Agenda Publishing. And if you don't know, that it's a micro press owned by Glenn Rolfe. And if you don't know who Glenn Rolfe is, you haven't been watching my previous videos, now have you? Glenn Rolfe wrote probably my favorite recent werewolf book called Blood and Rain. And the fact that he put out this book by author Jackson R. Thomas speaks a lot for me, saying, well, Glenn Rolfe knows werewolves. Glenn Rolfe knows werewolf books. If he put this out, it's gotta be good. So I'll be able to put that, down in the description below. Please check it out. Please check out. This is a series. It's called the White Wolf series. So there are other books either coming or already out. If you go to Amazon, you'll be able to see if there are more to the series. But yeah, I mean, continuing werewolf fan here. I'm going to keep watching the movies. I just feel like nobody in my friend group really digs the werewolves the way I do. So it's really nice to see you folks being like, yes, werewolves, yes, werewolves. So check out The Beast of Brenton Woods, where if you want to watch the Amityville Moon, go for it. And also Werewolves Within Us. Is it Within Us? It's just Werewolves Within. There's also one called Bloodthirsty. It should already be out. That looks kind of interesting. See, some of these play kind of fast and loose with whether or not it's a werewolf or are you just crazy. And this one, is it a werewolf movie or is it just I'm hungry for human flesh? I don't know. But okay, so that one's on my list. Yeah, Bloodthirsty. It should have been out on video on demand back in April. So hopefully I can find it somewhere now. And if not, I'll put it on a list and we'll find it later. And that'll be it for me today. Next week there will be a video, but the week of Thanksgiving, I think it's the 23rd, I will not be posting a video. There will also not be an episode of A Case for Classics podcast. I cook Thanksgiving dinner and it takes like 3 days of pre-cooking and baking to get that whole feast up and going. So I'm going to be busy and I'm just going to put it out there now. I'm not even trying to do everything that week. It's going to be all cooking and hopefully reading and editing. Oh God, so much editing. So I will see you all next week. And then the week after that, if you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. This thing is completely on the fritz, so we're going to have to push the button on the phone today. I'm very sorry if you have to do too much of a close-up on. So that'll be it for me today. Again, short video. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is going great. Just a quick FYI, if you have Shudder, get there now and look through some of those supernatural movies. Oh my God, their selection right now. I watched one last night that just completely rocked my world. Completely rocked my world. I have a lot of problems with it, but it was still a fun movie. I'll be talking about it on the Ghost Writers podcast this week. If you're listeners, fine. If not, still go check out the Shudder app for what they have on there now because, oh boy, I'm looking forward to really sitting on my couch this weekend and not moving and just watching movies on Shudder. So that'll be it. This is like the 5th time I've said that. I'm sorry. That'll be it for me this week. I will see you next week. And until then, bye-bye. Time to push the button. Bye-bye.